हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। सो आज का वीडियो थोड़ा सा स्पेशल होने वाला है बिकॉज वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड हैज़ ऑलरेडी कंप्लीटेड बैचलर्स ऑफ माइक्रोबायोलॉजी फ्रॉम महाराष्ट्र इटसेल्फ एंड ही इज़ गोइंग टू इंग्लैंड टू कंप्लीट हिज मास्टर्स। सो आप भी फॉरेन में कैसे स्टडी कर सकते हो, क्या ऑब्स्टिकल आए उसको बीच में बैचलर्स करते समय, मास्टर्स के लिए बाहर अप्लाई करने के लिए क्या प्रॉब्लम्स होती है, क्या आपको करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, वो सारी चीज़ों की आज हम लोग बात करेंगे। ओवरऑल फॉरेन में स्टडी कैसे करें उसकी बात करेंगे हम लोग। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क अजीम शेख, हु इज़ माई फ्रेंड, to introduce himself to my audience. So Azim, kindly introduce yourself to my audience first.
So, hi everyone, myself is Azim Sheikh and I'm a microbiologist. Since 2021, I've completed my bachelor's from Mumbai University 2021 and I've applied to the UK for my postgraduate course in MSc with advanced practice. And yes, we'll be discussing the process further in this video and how to apply in those colleges, what is the difference between a college and a university, because I've applied to Canada as well. So, yes, we'll be discussing what are the prerequisites, what are the core requirements for application, what are the entrance exam or generalized test that you take, also known as standardized tests. So yes, we'll be discussing further in this video, so make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And since this video will be a kind of noob, since I have no experience regarding shooting any videos and all, so yes, we'll be focusing on the core concept rather than my expressions and all. So yes, do stay with us till the end.
So, okay, apart from the introduction part, now I would like to ask you, how do we met? Tell our audience.
So Sama and I are very good friends since 2016, where we met in our classes, and since then, we are in contact via calls and social media, everything. And then I came to know that yes, he had a YouTube channel where he used to make videos regarding, yes, biological concepts and all. So I've subscribed to his channel a long time ago, and then he said, why not to create a series where we'll educate people regarding different about different colleges, its admission procedures, and where I have. Then he came to know that yes, I've applied to the UK from postgraduate. So he said that yes, we'll be doing it, and yes, he's taking a lot of efforts to educate you guys. So make sure to support him and whatever he'll be doing. It's a great thing. I've been following him since a long time. He's a very hardworking guy, and I'm proud being his friend.
Okay, then, interesting. The third question is, why do you choose microbiology instead of becoming a doctor?
Why did I choose to become a microbiologist, not a doctor? So this is a very simple concept and a very absurd one as well, because it was quite tough for me to get into medical. I just cleared my NEET with 207 marks, and it was really sounds too good to be true to get 600 in NEET with just 1 or 2 hours of study, and which I did not get honestly. But for a long time I had the subject in my mind that yes, I want to pursue microbiology because I was fascinated by medical concepts and all. For a long time it was quite easy for me to study, but later I was confused with biotech as well, because it was created in my mind spontaneously, that it was like a US Canada thing, that lot of things seemed similar to me in those subjects. Like immunology you had in biotech as well, but a significant part being in micro as well. Then you have a fermentation, both common in biotech microbiology. So but I consulted with my elder brother, who's my first cousin, who's a forensic scientist. So he said, okay, if you want to go for research, then go for microbiology. If you want to go for directly for industry, then choose biotech. But the thing was, you can go for research with any subject. You can go with history, you can go with geography. Research is open for everyone. But what you do, my advice for you to choosing, if you want to choose microbiology, be clear in your basic concepts, because all you need is practical. No matter how theory no matter how good you spell, no matter how beautiful you write, but the only second you'll make mistake in a laboratory, you lose your marks. This is the preciseness is very important in microbiology. So after this was also includes what are do's and don'ts in microbiology, which is our next question, and I'll merge this question into this. That what are do's? You clear your basic concepts. Secondly, you must know every biological concept that you studied in college. Forget about botany and all, but the basic thing, that what are microbes, how does it reproduce and all. So it will be quite easier for you. But to be honest, even if you know this, and the moment you enter first year, you'll feel like that, oh, come on, everything is new. But it won't be new. You'll be just you could have forgotten your concepts a long time ago, but you'll brush it up. So be precise in your practicals is the only do's, and what are don'ts. Do not miss any lectures, because in your bachelor's you won't be having any extra teaching, so make sure to do this.
Okay, so why you want to complete your masters or further studies from abroad itself?
So when I was in my 11th standard, I decided that yes, sometime in my life I want to study abroad. Okay, the first country that I was convinced with was Germany, and it was through a seminar that I shouldn't have attended, because that was seminar that encouraged me to research more, because you do not fall into trap. First of all, and why am I making this such statements now in this question, while the question is why did you choose to study abroad and what are your future plans? So I think this is important for telling you before choosing abroad plans, because there are a lot of consultants out in the market. Do not fall into that trap. Now I'm not saying that all consultants are fake, all are fraud. No, I'm not claiming such thing, but there are some who are not fraud, but they are deceiving you in such a way that yes, you will believe them and you will fall into some of the other trap and just complete their target. Like I said, first country was Germany, where I planned to go, and it was for MBBS. And yes, we made our plan, we had our finances, there was no problem in financing, there was no problem in education. But the thing is, as I said, it was free. But to be honest, check through the internet, through the German government's website, anything that you'll find, you have a semester contribution for Germany. That is 600 to 800 pounds or euros, 300 to 600 euros, which is like 60,000, 70,000 rupees. Yes, indeed, which is not too much when you're studying a medical. But another thing is, before getting a visa, you need to deposit 8,000 or 9,000 euros in your bank account, which is known as a blocked bank account. Service is also provided by ICICI. If you want to go for Germany, then do check it out. So you have to deposit it, which is equivalent to 8 or 9 lakh rupees, and you have to give it on one go. So where you will bring 9 lakh? Like, everyone is not like Ambani and Birla, so they'll be having a lot of amount of money in their bank account. So no, so do not fall into such trap. Secondly, why I applied to the UK? I did not apply to the UK directly. First of all, I had United States in my mind, then Canada, and then the UK. UK was my third option. And the reason for choosing UK, there was not like hectic procedure like get transcripts from college, which was an additional cost, to send physical copies of your accolades to the university via actual courier, which was again a costly thing to do. So such things I just managed to avoid, and I got into this university. And secondly, you do not have application fees for UK unless you apply for some kind of a Russell group, like Imperial College, you have Oxford, you have Cambridge, you have like UCL. They have application fees, but majority of the universities will not charge application fees from you. And yes, it is quite easy procedure for UK if you want to get into that. So we'll discuss about standardized tests. First being the IELTS, which is compulsory. I took the IELTS for UKVI because I wanted to apply for UK, which stands for UK Visas and Immigration. And the fees is 14,000, and mine fee was 15,100. So you only have to pay 1,100 rupees extra. For Canada, IELTS is must. If you are applying for the US and if you want to get into some master's program, I recommend you to give GRE, because even though some universities will say they do not require GRE, and if you are sure, okay, I am eligible and my profile is fitting into it, then go for it. But I'll recommend, do give the GRE if you are applying for the US, and it will help you to get into some top Canadian universities as well, like McGill, UBC, University of Toronto, and you have Western, you have like University of Calgary, everything, the top U15. Remember this word, U15, that is University 15. This is a group of 15 universities in Canada, and in Germany you have TU9, which is 9 technical universities if you are from a technical or engineering background. Then you have GO8 Australia. You do search this, do research about this. That is GO8 Australia, that is group of 8. You have like University of Sydney, University of Queensland, Melbourne in Australia. And in the UK you have the Russell Group universities, which I guess is 20 to 21 universities, ranging from University of Oxford to Nottingham, Manchester, Birmingham, and everything. So why I did this point? Because it will help you to research about what score you will be needing to get into such universities, and indeed it will help. And if you're planning for MBA, do research about GMAT, Graduate Management Admission Test, which is similar to GRE, but only mathematics is a little tougher. And in GRE, the verbal section is quite different. But if you have a mathematical concept strong, of course, I think you will be cracking these exams very easily. So these are not exams, to be honest. Again, these are standardized tests which is just helping universities to judge you on a common ground, because there will be a lot of people coming from China, Pakistan, India. So it just helps them to judge you on the common ground. Even if you don't have a very good GRE score, does not mean that you will be getting rejected into that program. As I said, they have a holistic approach for judging a student. So do research about this exam, and if you have some more doubts, you can contact me. I'll be more happy to help you.
Okay, so the last question is, do you want to give any suggestions to our students who want to complete bachelor's or master's from abroad? Eventually जो बाहर से studies करना चाहते हैं foreign से, उनके लिए एक suggestion.
If you want to apply to the UK, check out the universities. Second, if they offer the course that you're applying to, not like just you want to get out of this country, if just you want to get to know that culture, you're not going for the culture. Second, the most important one, do check the course that they're offering. Like for instance, while I was applying for my MSc, I saw on that website Arizona State University, they were offering me MSc microbiology, but their modules were more inclined towards the environmental side, so it was not suitable for me. So do check this out, that whether they are offering modules which suits you or not. Or then what will happen, if you want to go like for pharmaceutical sides and you do not have those modules, it will be useless. You will be losing a lot of money. So do check it out. Third thing, manage your funds. See, even if you pay 50 lakhs of fees, they won't give you a visa. They won't give you a visa, I repeat, if you do not have enough funds in your bank account. Like for instance, if for UK you require 9.5 lakh rupees in a bank account, for Germany you require 8 to 9 lakh rupees, for Canada you require $10,000, which they call as GIC. So these are the particular amounts that you will be needing in your bank account through loans or through your own funds. It depends what you take. And if you're applying for the UK, you need those funds 28 days old. It won't be like if you're applying for a visa tomorrow and you transfer your funds today. No, you have to keep it 28 days ago. So it will be like 28 days old and you'll be eligible for a visa. So make sure to do this. Third thing, we are going to this country because there are a lot of Indians. See, you're not going for Indians. Have you ever seen, like, I do not know if somebody does this or not, an African goes to US to see a lion? So this does not make any sense. You won't see any Australian in the US, in an American zoo, to see a kangaroo. So do remember this, you are not going for Indians, you are not going for your own culture, you are not going for dal chawal, you are not going for samosa vada pav, and you will be spending 2 or 5 euros for a vada pav. So this does not make any sense. So these are common things that nobody will tell you. Hey, come on, there are a lot of Indians, go to this country. There are a lot of Indians, go to this country. You are not going because of any country. I'm sorry, Indians. You are going because you made sure this, yes, I have this course and I'll get some return of investment while I'm doing this. There are a lot of students who go to Poland, who go to Germany, who go to Italy. They did not go to the US, they did not go to Australia, they went there. Why? Because they know that what they are doing, they will get the return of investment. So these are some miscellaneous points that I've made, so do consider. And last thing, do not believe any hilly-nilly consultants. Now I'm not claiming this that every consultant is bad or every consultant is fraud. No, they will tell you, but the thing is you have to keep in mind. And I forgot to add this document in my previous question. I'm adding it now. You require 2 documents more. First one being the statement of purpose, and you have to write an entire essay, 1.5 page. That's it, no more than that, or max to max 2, depends on the university or the country that you're applying to. So it is an essay that you have to highlight your history, educational history, not about your childhood and all what you did. They do not care. You require educational history, why you are pursuing this course, why you are choosing this university. So this you have to make sure you to write in that letter and convince them that why you are the perfect choice for them to take in. The second is a letter of recommendation, which is not in your hand. You contact your professors and ask them to send letters of recommendation and give you a copy, not copy, it's an original copy with the sign and stamp on your college letterhead. So these are the 2 most important documents that can get you in or even get you rejected. So make sure to collect all this document, pile them up all, and just apply for universities. And if you need any help, do contact. I'll be more than happy to help everyone.